Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I am Mohamad Mostafa, Community Specialist at DataCite, and I will be moderating today DataCite member panel session where we are introducing and sharing insights from 3 different use cases of the DataCite community members. But before we start with that, I just wanted to very quickly walk you through these housekeeping slides. So please join the discussion and post about this through your social media channels using the hashtag DataCite 2025. Please also adhere to our code of conduct, as you can see it in that link. And at the end of this session, you will see a survey that will pop up. So please share your feedback with us. And also all the slides and the recording of this webinar will be uploaded to the DataCite community on Zenodo. And great, yeah. So today, for today agenda, we have an introduction about DataCite for 5 minutes. I will be leading that, and then we'll move to 3 different use cases. We have Namtip Fabian from the National Research Council of Thailand, the DataCite Consortium lead in Thailand. We have Adam Buttrick from California Digital Library, one of DataCite Consortium leads in the United States. And then we have Fabian Kohlmann from Lithodat from Australia, one of our direct members in Australia as well. Then we are going to have discussions and QA at the end. So please, if you have any questions, post them in the Q&A section. Yeah, and very quickly, who we are. So DataCite is a global community of research organizations. All of these research organizations are coming together because we all share a common interest. We all want to ensure that all research outputs and the resources are openly available and also connected, so we can help in advancing knowledge across and between different disciplines, and also now and in future times as well. DataCite is a non-profit organization registered in Germany since 2009. So in terms of our global community, we have over 1,704 organizations that are part of the DataCite community. So we are talking about a wide range of organizations from universities, colleges, museums, research centers. We have members across 66 countries, and so far our members have registered over 104 million DOIs, and we have like over 650 million resolutions in 2025. So yeah, members join DataCite to register DOIs. We enable them to create and register digital object identifiers, and we also help them to connect research outputs by using rich metadata information, and we allow also them, as I mentioned, to register DOIs for diversified research outputs and resources, from samples and images to data sets and preprints. But we are not only a DOI registration agency. We built integrated services like DataCite Commons to improve and enhance research workflows, with the ultimate goal also to facilitate the discoverability and reusability of the outputs and the resources that DataCite members are currently registering. So yeah, so in terms of the added value of using DataCite DOIs, it will help you to promote and align more with the open research practices as highlighted in the UNESCO 2021 recommendation in open science. And in the context of research data, for example, it will make your research data align with the FAIR principles. It will help also to connect your existing systems, existing repositories with the global ecosystem. It will improve research visibility and discoverability. It will also increase recognition for your outputs, and it will boost citation and increase the overall institutional impact. So yeah, if you are interested to join our community, there are different routes for that. You can join us through a direct member. If you are a university and or an institution, you want to connect your existing systems with DataCite DOIs, or if you are a group of institutions or a national level organization like a national library in one country and you want to start a DataCite consortium, we are more than happy to collaborate with you on that. Or if you are an institution in one country where we have already an existing consortium in your country or in your region, you can check with us and maybe you can join one of these consortium as a consortium consortium organization. Or if you want to support just our mission and collaborate with us, participate in our governance, you can join us as a supporting member. Or also, if you are a register, you can join us as a registered service provider program. If you are developing or working with repositories software and you want to have that certification from DataCite. And now, yeah, without any further delays, we will move to the first presentation that we have today. So we'll move to Professor Namtip from the National Research Council of Thailand.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, DataCite, for letting me share the experience of DataCite in Thailand by the National Research Council of Thailand. I'm Namtip Wipawin from Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University, and with our research team from different universities who are interested in DOI. Today I will, the topic is that we are going to talk about today about the reason why we joined DataCite and how do we use DataCite services and the problem that DataCite help us to solve, and also the progress of our work. The main reason for joining DataCite in the beginning is because of the vision of the Secretary General of the NRCT, who is the scientist and medical doctor, Professor Dr. Suttiporn Chit Mitrapap, to emphasize on sharing research output by using DOI. Especially NRCT is the national funding agency under the Ministry of Higher Education and Science Research and Innovation, with 7 missions to develop research and innovation in Thailand. NRCT is a hub for the National Research Database of the research granted by NRCT. Since 2012, NRCT has been a full member of DataCite as a direct member. Since then, NRCT has more than 200,000 DOI registered for research reports and theses, and also the journals, 50,000 journals from 230 organizations that are partner of NRCT. As a direct member of DataCite, there are 3 types of registered DOI at NRCT by using web form in DRIC system, which is the research database of NRCT, and by the Excel file to the local handler system, and by the web form of DOI website of NRCT. And at the time, NRCT used the centralized model, means that the application form will be sent to NRCT staff to do the process of DOI registration in the NRCT database. In 2024, last year, NRCT supports the DOI upgrade project. So this is the time that our research team start working with the progress and development of DOI as ISO standard. From this study, there are the recommendation to develop DataCite citation policy and culture, and to develop the National DOI Service Center in order to provide DOI to digital repositories and journal articles in Thailand by applying DataCite consortium model and cross-web sponsor program for Thai journals. To understand more about DOI, we translate the updated version of ISO 26324 and also translate DOI handbook into Thai language. In this year, 2025, NRCT applied for DataCite consortium lead to provide DOI to 4 consortium organizations that their digital repository were certified by COTASIL standards. Because now there are about 7 digital repositories in Thailand that were certified by COTASIL. This year, NRCT become a DataCite consortium lead with the support of DataCite support team by meeting, training, and email discussion. And there are 4 pilot organizations that to be a pilot organization of a consortium organization or system member. There are Kasetsart University Library and National Institute Development Administration Library and Prince of Songkhla University and the National Assembly of Thailand. And this is just the beginning to this year. How do we use DataCite services? From 2012, NRCT team has developed the local handle system to manage DOI by using DOI form and DOI service via API for thesis and research report to their organizational partners. The core usage of DataCite service are DOI registration, DOI management, and discovery of DOI and their associated metadata. During that 10 years of DOI at NRCT, there were the update service at DOI local system, but the system still be centralized by NRCT. Later, they try to decentralize by using the agency model to register DOI by the organizational partner. And the problem DataCite is helping to solve is the transformation process from direct member to be consortium member, and how to manage as the consortium lead and how to work as the consortium member. There are a lot of Q&A on email, meeting, and training that we have with DataCite support team to help us understand the registration method by using DataCite Fabrica and DataCite REST API. It's also important to know about the citation and the impact track to display the statistics of at the DataCite Commons. And as the consortium lead, we can see the DOI and the statistic of the consortium organization to be findable in the different resource types. And the progress of DOI in Thai community just this year is our research team just has developed a DOI for multiple record by DataCite API, because our consortium organization are university and government agency that have many publications and data each year. So to save their time, they ask for tools to register multiple records. So we develop and test multiple record program for them to use by their choice. We also developed the e-training of DataCite of DOI management training for the Thai DOI community by giving them awareness of using PID, DOI policy, DOI registration by using Fabrica and API via OJS or DSpace. And we also developed the web portal to analyze the impact of DOI in Thailand, to see the statistic of DOI in the past 5 to 10 years by institution and subject, and also for the PID graph of the research outputs. Also, the support of DOI for research data management project in our consortium member just started by the Kasetsart University Library, and also the National Assembly of Thailand, who had the RDM policy and initiate the research data project in the repository. All of this, we try to build DOI Thai community by sharing knowledge from the direct members to consortium member in a group of digital repository community and Thai journal community, and we hope to extend to other PIDs such as ORCID ID or ORID and so on, and to connect with other community. I feel very grateful to the National Research Council of Thailand to support this upgrade project and to support the research ecosystem in Thailand. And also, everything is possible and moving forward because of the support of DataCite support team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Namtip, for sharing this interesting use case. And yeah, we are very happy to have you as a consortium lead in Thailand now. Okay, please stop sharing. Great. So now we'll move to Adam from California Digital Library.
Are we seeing my slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Buttrick. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Persistent Identifiers at the California Digital Library. Very honored to be here today with my fellow panelists and members of the DataCite community to talk to you about the exciting work we've been doing registering DOIs for awards with DataCite. So before diving into those details, some quick context on where I'm based. The California Digital Library, or CDL, as we're commonly referred to, was established as a central unit within the University of California system to coordinate and enhance the capabilities of its campuses and partner organizations. So through system-wide and external collaborations, we provide innovative digital library services that amplify the impact of the UC libraries, their scholarship, campus scholarship, and resources. Part of these efforts is my work on CDL's UC3 team, where I lead the persistent identifiers portfolio. Here we build and manage services for persistent identification of all things. In doing so, we take a very Big Ten approach to this, which means we support our campuses and partners across a wide range of activities and use cases. In terms of services, what this means, I'm the product manager for the Research Organization Registry, or ROR. So I like that Namtip did a call out to that. Hopefully everyone here loves and is also using ROR in their work with DataCite. I also manage EasyID, an application for registering DOIs and ARCs used by many teams across all of our campuses to register their DataCite DOIs. Also lead on a compact identifier resolution service, Name2Thing or N2T. So in addition to our work on these applications, CDL was a founding member of DataCite. We also have folks on the board of Crossref. We a member of the US ORCID Consortium, where kind of provide support to all of our campus level integrations as well. But our goal really with all of this work is to allow our campuses and partners to make use of persistent identifiers in the simplest and most painful way, painless ways possible to make all the valuable work they do richer and better connected. Which specifically brings me to what I want to talk to you all about today, our work with the Research Grants Program Office registering DOIs for awards. Okay, for some background, the Research Grants Programs Office, or RGPO, is a division of the University of California Office of the President, where my unit, UC3 CDL, is also based. The RGPO was established in 2009 to join together the UC system's broad portfolio of research funding programs representing about over $100 million a year in funded research. So now this includes several longstanding and high impact statewide funding initiatives, such as the California Breast Cancer and HIV/AIDS research programs, which provided both early and continuing support for high impact research in these critical domains. Similarly, through its multi-campus research programs and initiatives fundings, the RGPO creates opportunities for collaboration across all of our campus and UC-managed national labs, allowing researchers to come together and tackle complex, multidisciplinary challenges that might otherwise remain unexplored, kind of in the absence of that funding. So, as you might imagine from that description, managing a diverse portfolio of funding programs introduces some unique challenges, particularly when it comes to unifying information across different layers and domains. So the Research Grants Program Office has done a great job establishing very high quality data management processes and reporting of impact for each of these initiatives. But the discoverability of this work was previously limited to its representation in our public-facing grants database. So here is really where DOIs for awards provide us with an opportunity. By registering them, we have the chance to take a high-level view of all of the RGPO's work across all of those programs, describe it in a unified fashion in accordance with the DataCite schema, and then, of course, by doing so, have our awards be connected to the broader kind of persistent identifier ecosystem. So zooming in a little bit more practically about in terms of how this all came about. So relative to my team's knowledge of the RGPO's work, all that great work, and some internal needs we had around exposing their funding metadata, we approached the RGPO team about registering DOIs for their awards. They were super supportive of the idea, such that our initial conversations kind of naturally turned to how this would mesh with their existing workflows, including things like how DOIs would fit with their use and organization of their work around a local identifier system. So if you talk to any funders, they tend to make use of local internal identifiers for identifying their funding. But this was really an excellent opening for us to discuss how registering DOIs was not intended to replace any of their established workflows, but instead to amplify them. So what we explained was that DOIs enhance the visibility of their funding activities by providing a persistent and machine-readable form of reference. This in turn then allows other systems to discover and connect to their awards and the associated research outputs. Ultimately, we told them that leveraging PIDs would enable them to be a part of a larger ecosystem of open research information, close the gaps between their internal accounting and public-facing systems, and create a more complete picture of the University of California's impact, and specifically the RGPO's role in that success. So that argument was very persuasive. I'm here today presenting to you about how we registered all of those awards. But before talking about how we did that, I want to take a step back and explain why we chose to do this work with DataCite. So CDL's investment in DataCite is as a community of research organizations that works together to understand and meet our shared needs, kind of that vision that Mohamad was articulating at the outset of the session. So this spirit of cooperation really aligns perfectly with our own approach of leveraging partnerships and collaboration to amplify the impact of our campus libraries, our scholarships, our resources. And for this kind of work to be successful, what it really requires is a lot of clarity, engagement, and responsiveness, all of which we've always found in working with the team at DataCite, as well as our fellow members of the DataCite community. So there's almost always someone who's doing really great work that can inform our own efforts. The DataCite team is always really willing to step up and help us kind of accomplish what we need to accomplish. And these considerations are especially important as we plan for future persistent identifier needs across the UC system, where we see expansion beyond many traditional workflows and where this work will be done by an ever more diverse set of users. So increasingly, we're focused on new areas such as software citation, project identification, as well as workflows for new and non-traditional research outputs, with these efforts really being driven from the bottom up demand by individual researchers, units, and then campus level initiatives. So this expansion of scope requires a focus on shared development and attentiveness to user needs that, again, the DataCite community consistently provides and brings to our own work. And ultimately, we want any interaction that someone has with this ecosystem to be the first step in engaging with PIDs and the DataCite community more broadly, and for folks to feel really excited and inspired by that opportunity. Okay, back to the actual registration. Our approach to registering award DOIs began with exporting and reviewing the award metadata from the RGPO's internal grant management system, which, thanks to their very diligent accounting, included a robust description of the awards with links to the associated investigators and research outputs. We, on my team, then analyzed existing practices for award DOIs by other funders to determine how we should best describe the RGPO's funding activities. Here, we identified some gaps and inconsistencies, specifically in the conflation of things like funding programs. So remember, I talked about the California Breast Cancer Research Program, HIV/AIDS Research Program, with funders, meaning us, the University of California Office of the President, documenting what we thought to be the most pressing issues that impacted discovery. We then presented these, kind of our observations to the team at DataCite, who really helped us to better model them relative to the DataCite schema, as well as conversations that they were having with other users kind of facing similar challenges. So what this culminated in was a new set of workflows for how we should describe and represent the RGPO's funding activities, including guidance we shared back directly with their team. This work then also helped to inform the more official guidance that DataCite put together, providing kind of a great example of that virtuous cycle of collaboration I just mentioned that, we're always happy to kind of share in with the DataCite team and the DataCite community. So once we had that correct descriptive model, the registration process itself was super straightforward. We mapped the exported RGPO funding data to the corresponding DataCite schema fields, adding BOR IDs for the publishers and ourselves, the University of California Office of the President as a funder, and then added DOIs for the related research outputs. We then generated the XML records based on this mapping and registered via the API. We provided a report back to the Research Grant Program Office, who has now kind of integrated all of the resulting award DOIs back into their grant funding database. So here is an example of one of these awards in DataCite Commons, which I'll pop in the chat, but maybe in the interest of time, not pull up. Let me see.
It's already in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Maria. So then in terms of next steps, what we're really focusing on is automating more of our DOI registration and update processes to improve their overall efficiency. So currently we create new award DOIs and update existing award DOIs a few times a year. So the goal would be to have this occur more frequently and automatically relative to changes that we detect in the RGPO's internal metadata. So building a system where we can just say, oh, something's changed, we have a new DOI, we update the DOI. Second, we're also collaborating with OpenAlex on their new Welcome-funded grant project around funding metadata to better connect our award activities to their research graph. So this will hopefully help us in our work to reconcile related research outputs with their award DOIs, especially where those values aren't being explicitly asserted in the DOI metadata for publications. So they're doing a lot of work around parsing full text to identify new links, and then we can fold those back into the award DOIs and DataCite. Ideally, all of that work will also encourage other funders to get started with registering their own award DOIs and DataCite and kind of reap similar benefits. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you very much for having me, and happy to answer any questions about our work with award DOIs at the end of the panel presentations. Feel free also to reach out to me over email about this anytime, any work that we're doing with award DOIs or with DataCite CDL more broadly. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing this interesting use case for us. And yeah, this is a gentle reminder. If you have any questions or comments or feedback to our panelists, please drop your inquiry in the Q&A section. And now we'll move to Fabian Kohlmann, who is going to walk us through his use case as well. Great.
Okay, hi. Thanks everyone for joining our seminar today, and thanks DataCite for having me as well, and talk about what we are doing here with geoscience data to try to make it fair, and PIDs playing an essential part in doing so. So yeah, my name is Fabian Kohlmann. I'm the managing director of Lithodat. We are a Melbourne-based geoscience data company where we help building government and research platforms for people to use it. So today I will talk a bit how we enable and empowering fair geoscience data for the EarthBank platform and other public platforms we develop. So the vision, can you see? Okay, good. So the mission we have actually is to make easy access to fair global spatial geoscience data and to create then data-driven geoscience stories on the fly. So as I mentioned, we are a Melbourne-based geoscience company, but we also have offices in Mexico and in Ireland. And we work together with a lot of national government organizations and geological surveys across the globe, mainly, of course, here with Australian service like Geoscience Australia, CSIRO, or some state surveys, but also we work with Natural Resources Canada, and we are starting more collaborations in Europe as we speak. But we also work with some major mining companies, which all have the same issues when it comes to data and make data actually findable and really usable. So that's where we come in. We provide unique, powerful cloud-hosted platforms for spatial geoscience data and the discovery and integration, and then analytics and dissemination. So here are a few of the bespoke data platforms we have developed. EarthBank is a global academic portal for fair geoscience data, which we will look a bit more into detail. And then there is Isotope AU. It's another platform we developed for government agencies here like Geoscience Australia, CSIRO, and ENSTO to bringing all their data together and make that data publicly available and findable. We work with Natural Resources Canada, helping them with databases and also build models, which makes it easier then to share their public geochemical data. And we just released this year at EGU our lithospace.com platform, where we try to standardize and publicize the space data, like all moon samples which ever have been collected from NASA or Russian and Chinese space missions, and the same with Mars data to make it findable and usable. So the big problem is what I think that's across any discipline, is that there are a lot of data silos and data standardization. So a lot of data is sitting somewhere in some files or even on old disks, and a lot of data is still sitting in old reports buried somewhere. Of course, it's much better the moment you get your data in any kind of database, so it's easier to share it internally, but also externally. Databases getting much more powerful when you have them in a relational context. And the gold standard currently is if you have a relational database sitting in a cloud environment, so you can access it from anywhere. So what we are doing is we are helping standardizing, which is key, and de-siloing that public data. So we work here together a lot with academia, industry, and government organization. The biggest part is really then collating, digitizing, cleaning, QCing, and structuring that data. And that's where actually DOIs and IGSNs, which are collaboration with the DataCite to mint DOIs on single samples, and to give these samples a context that they are findable, and then across the whole value chain of analytics, as you can do different analytical techniques on the same sample. And these results then integrated in one relational database makes it powerful. To do so, of course, you need to develop really detailed data schemas in a relational context. You have to map out all the connections, all the relations, all the lookup tables using published international ontologies. Then we have open REST APIs developed, so the data can be connected to any other systems out there. And yeah, you end up with searchable, consistent data. Once your data is in a nice context, then it's easy to create dashboards, or you can do plots on the fly. Let's have a look at EarthBank. That's a platform we built here for the Australian research community. So we're working here with nearly all Australian universities, helping all their geochemistry labs, bringing all their data out to the public, so researchers can collect samples in the field, bring them out, and each sample can be analyzed, and we can publish all the data, the results to the public. But we also have a lot of museums joining. We had now Museums Victoria, the Western Australian Museum, and Queensland Museum coming on board, and museums are getting more and more interested as well in using PIDs besides the identifiers they're just using in their collections, and are going more down the route now, also starting using IGSNs and DOIs for their samples. So EarthBank was built really for, you can do databasing, streamlined data upload, Then we have integrated IGSN and DOI minting, where we work with DataCite. That's where we joined as a member. We have then integrated statistical toolboxes, privacy control. You can disseminate your data. The data can be published. So for each data set, once a researcher is finished, they can make it public. Then they can mint a DOI for that data package, which nowadays for every publication, you need to usually put your data in as well, ideally with a DOI. So it's fair, complies with fair data policies. Yeah, and then the data can be mined and visualized and also can be exported and connected to all other software. I have here a short video to show you how that public platform looks. That's some data in Canada. Once the data, the researchers have compiled their collection, that's age data. You can look at ages. You can then start filtering data here. For example, if you're looking at 2.4 billion to 1.6 billion year-old rocks, but you can adjust it and modify the data. So that's once your data is published and really in a standardized format, you can do a lot of things and enable quick research and analytics and finding data. So those are multiple projects. Here we're looking at geochemistry data in British Columbia and Canada. And then the researchers can also start analyzing their data even in 3D, as there is often in geosciences a context between elevation. That's done geochemistry data from Southern Ontario. Also in Canada, those are stream sediment samples that are samples taken along rivers or creeks from the sand and being analyzed for their chemistry. We see there is a clear difference. That's because of the geology. You have some sediments in the south and some basement rocks in the north. So it's really easy then for researchers to get the overview. And that's a power once you really bring your data together. And that can be from different publications or different packages, but as long as researchers work together, it makes their data easy discoverable, and then you can really work with it and you find patterns in your data which we are not able to see before. Once the data is in there, you can do a lot of fancy things. We have, for example, integrated plate reconstructions, so all the data, once it's in the system, can be reconstructed back in time to analyze. We have even field apps developed where people go out in the field. You can take a sample. The moment you take it, you already mint an IGSN and give it a persistent identifier, which then stays forever with the sample. We also, people like to use buzzwords. So you create a digital twin of your sample the moment you mint it. So let's dive a bit into fair geoscience data. So Earthbank covered the fair aspect, and the main point, I think, is really making data findable. So it's easy to find different packages. You can see which university or which researcher has published it. Everything has a full audit trail. So you see all the papers, you have a link, you can go to the papers. And to doing so, it's crucial to have PIDs like IGSNs and DOIs for those data sets. The data has to be, of course, accessible. That's being done by, we have easy Excel uploaders and ETL pipelines to bring the data in, which really guides the users how to do it, including standardization, but also data can easily be then extracted via different file formats as required. The trickiest part in FAIR is the I, that's standing for interoperable. And interoperability is achieved in our days relatively good by using REST APIs or open REST APIs, because you can start mapping them to other systems and can transfer your data straight to other needs. So that's all given, and we have different users already using it, like the museums is connecting the whole collection management system to the system and making all their collections public available. And then there is the R, which stands for reusable. So the data, of course, have to be you use best practice to have the standards you use, and then they have to be, that makes it then reusable across the board and across the world. Let's have a closer look at the IGSNs and DOIs. So DataCite's REST API we use for minting those PIDs, such as IGSNs for samples, which can be minted individually, or we can do batch minting for a whole collection of samples, or it can be already minted in the field. but also we use then DOIs to mint to publish the whole data sets, and that can be used for multiple platforms like Earthbank or Isotopes AU or Lithospace. IGSN stands for actually International Generic Sample Numbers, and we can allocate then global unique persistent identifiers for each sample. So these samples, we will allocate individual namespaces for each minting body. So each university has their own namespace, and then we mint the DOIs for each sample. And that makes those samples really uniquely discoverable. Once you have them in that, you have all the metadata. We follow the metadata schemas, which have been developed together with a team of experts between IGSNs and the DataCite people. So you can see the data can then be accessed anyway. We can publish here. You see a DOI of our published data set. They have QR codes and can be easily discovered across the board. Then just show you quickly the other platforms. So that's the Isotopes AU platform. There's a lot of isotope data across all Australia's, all the different government institutions contribute their data, and they can also have individual IGSNs or DOIs and for the data which comes in, and you can modify. And again, it's really easy to findable and bring data together. Then same with Lithospace. Here we see some of the samples from that. So those are Apollo missions on the left side, and on the right side, the 3 samples are the lunar samples, which were taken by Russian landers in the early 70s. But you can then start working with the data. You can download different file types or CSV files, but we can also analyze the data once they're in the system. We can plot graphs. Here we see, for example, that a geology thing, though there are moon samples from all different analytical sessions. They plot as primitive basalt, and that's what you expect on what moon samples actually should be. And yeah, all data is interactive, and you can work with it. So that's only possible if the data is properly allocated and has and findable and has assigned IGSN. So yeah. Thanks for that. And as I say, data, you can't make bricks without clay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fabian. I completely agree with you. Yeah, thank you. This is a very interesting use case for supporting DOIs for research data and IGSN IDs for samples. Okay, yeah, I think we have enough time for the Q&A session. So please, if you have any questions to our panelists, drop them in the Q&A section. And I think one key message across all of these different presentations is they present different diversified use cases, and they show us also the diversity in the DataCite community, and we consider it as one of our strengths, like diversity is our strength at the DataCite community. And they also show that DataCite play a key role as an essential open research infrastructure. I have, until we receive questions from the attendees, I have an opening questions to all panelists today. So from your point of view, if an organization is considering DataCite membership to join our growing community, do you have any advice, any tips for them as well? Yeah.
I mean, if I can start, I would say the main thing is first make sure you know exactly what kind of what your requirements are, what you want to mint, what kind of data or publications or what your use case is, and then it's easy to get in contact with DataCite and discuss your individual use cases and work out a solution which works together. And yeah, there are different ways you can go. I think with you can use the fabrics, DataCite fabrics, or you can use APIs if you have your own system and want to make your minting more efficient.
Yeah, I would say to Fabian's point, just to understand really your use case and the kind of different groups that you might be serving, where they are in terms of understanding the role of metadata and all of those kind of fair aspects that Fabian was talking about, and kind of discoverability more broadly, and what the kind of things that you will need to do and bring to the table in order to make kind of the best representation possible in DataCite. So really kind of meeting those community obligations of setting a good example, making sure that you're translating really good work that's being done at your institution into the best possible description. The DataCite team is really, really great at helping folks do that. I'm someone who's been working with persistent identifiers for a long time. A lot of this funding landscape stuff, totally new to me, but they were incredibly helpful in kind of breaking it down, looking at the schema structure, kind of understanding how we should model all of that. So yeah, I would say leverage their expertise, understand your own use cases, understand your commitments and kind of obligations relative to membership, but it's super easy to join.
Namtip, do you want to add anything to this? If a new organization is considering joining DataCite, do you have any tips for them?
I learned a lot from other two speakers. May I have a questions to ask about fair data? How do we start working with the fair data? Do we have to work with fair data assessment for our data before submitting in the system? For listen to Fabian and it's opened my eyes to and other things about how data can do more than just publications and and yeah, can you give me some more information for the beginners, for working with fair data? Thank you.
Fabian, do you want to take this one?
If that was for me, okay. I thought it was directed to DataCite. Yeah, that I mean, it depends again on what we are looking at. Of course, if you look at DOIs for publications, it's one thing, but as I've shown, for us, the main thing is having DOIs on actual the data packages or each samples. That's where the IGSNs come in, because it starts not just having the paper findable. Ideally, you have all the stuff which sitting in a publication, and it doesn't have to be geological samples. It can be medical samples, it can be archaeological samples, it can be anything, to have everything findable. And especially nowadays, everyone talking AI and machine learning, etc., to make things really findable. That's where it helps you. You need persistent identifiers on every single data point, essentially.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, Namtim, so yeah, I believe we had this discussion before with NRCT regarding their data repository. So I think, yeah, once you have it up and running, we can always connect, and then you can explore also registering DOIs in our test fabric as well as an initial phase. And then, yeah, we can kick off by registering production DOIs for research data sets. Yeah, this is good. Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts here. And the next question in my mind, since we have two consortium leads here who are serving different communities, so it would be great to hear your thoughts about your strategies that you take, for example, to grow the consortium members, or you, Adam, highlighted how you are working to use a new resource type that we recently developed within our metadata schema. So it would be good to hear from Adam and Namtip about the strategies that you are considering to grow your members and also to grow the adoption of DataCite resource types within your consortium members.
Yeah, so in the context of the UC system, in terms of membership, we're constrained obviously to our campuses, but that's not really a constraint in that the research infrastructure is so large. There are so many people doing so many diverse things. There's always an opportunity for more folks to kind of enter the persistent identifier fold. So what we really try to do is build very strong relationships with our campus libraries to kind of understand where researchers are at in terms of their knowledge of persistent identifiers, its values, how we can maybe accelerate adoption and do those kind of things, and essentially just trying to try to find opportunities to collaborate through the campus level where there's a lot more kind of specialized expertise. But then in certain contexts, such as our own work kind of internally within the Office of the President, find, new ways to leverage like emerging persistent identifier use cases. So we actually know that the funding use case, essentially identifying funding correctly, is one of the thorniest challenges across all of persistent identifier metadata because, traditionally publications have modeled this in ways that are maybe a little bit opaque, or there hasn't been the same level of attention to it as compared to other metadata fields. So as a result, there's kind of a paucity of funding metadata that really affects our ability to kind of accurately do impact tracking. Similarly, the practices between things like publications and data sets in terms of acknowledgement of funding can be very different. So you can have a published work, an associated data set. You look at those two things and how they represent the funding, even if it's both coming from us, can be completely different. So what I think is the opportunity for us is to essentially insert the our internal understanding about funding metadata into that persistent identifier graph. So it's another kind of parallel form of assertion that can connect and rationalize all of those things relative to our view. So really that's the function that I think adopting this new resource type 2. It's bringing a new view that can be connected to the existing graph and kind of qualify and make all of it better.
Great. Yeah, that sounds really good. And Namtip, do you have any plans to grow the consortium? What are these plans? What are the strategies that you are considering?
Okay, for in RCT, because we just start being a consortium member, so it's very important for us to raise awareness, and work together with the first 4 digital repository staff and expand to other digital repository that we have in Thailand in order to do our own DOI, because before that we used the centralized system by NRCT staff, but to work on their own depository, I think is new for them too, to do this work, but they have a good start for a digital for 4 organizations that have been working, but that's why we have to do a lot of training during this time, and also at the same time the administrator of NRCT also would like to see about the impact of DOI in Thailand. That's why we have to work more with the citation and then the tracking from DOI in Thailand. I think a lot of things we have to do, but we will continue working to build the Thai DOI community in Thailand to know more about PID, not just only DOI, and also with other PID too. Thank you.
Great, yeah, and just to add to that, we are here to help, and yeah, we are happy also to contribute to these awareness efforts to raise awareness among the research community in Thailand. Yeah, and I think that's it for today's session. I really want to thank all our panelists today, Fabian, Adam, and Namtip. Thank you so much for showing us these diversified use cases. And please, to all the attendees, feel free to connect with us. And I believe my colleague Maria already posted the links to all of these presentations. So yeah, thank you so much. And before we close, I want to walk you very quickly to these 2 slides. So we are now opening our newsletter. So please feel free to subscribe to the DataCite community mailing list to receive it at the last day of every month, where you can see updates about what is happening at the DataCite community, what are the latest updates. You can also see our upcoming events, webinars, and activities that we are participating in across the community. And you can also find the information about our services and community activities. We also invite you all to take an active part in the DataCite Community Survey 2025. So please share your insights to help us also shape our services. The survey is open to all DataCite members, users, and partners as well. And we have a deadline for sharing your thoughts, 1st of December 2025. And with that, thank you so much to everyone. And yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.